What is going on, everybody? It is episode 493 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Guys, it's exciting today because we finally got someone to join us up here. It's Isabelle Rosini. Hello. Thank you for joining us for the very first time.
Yes, I'm honored to be here.
Tell us what you do.
So I do PR. In the greater DMV area. You might have seen my colleague and boss on the show before, Vanessa Santos.
Wait, so DMV, is that DC, Maryland, Virginia?
Yeah, I know. I've said that before and people are like, the DMV? I'm like,
that's horrible.
No,
that's horrible.
The metro area.
Like, there's nobody that could actually use public relations more than probably the actual DMV.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that.
You're someone who's pulling the strings in the
I'm
media.
behind the scenes. I'm a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Send a lot of emails. I get a lot of, don't always get responses, but that's okay.
That's funny because I was actually just reading a thing earlier that was talking about how Gen Z hates email.
Oh, really? I love email.
Like I'm a millennial and I'm not a huge fan of email either. Like I send them, but I send them in protest most of the time.
What is like your preferred mode of communication?
DM. There's just something more about the informal nature of it that I like more than like, it's kind of like you see all the memes that come up about like, I hope this email finds you well, or how you have to phrase everything in a certain way in an email.
But you don't have to do that.
You can totally
just be a savage.
I've gotten better at just not including all of the email pleasantries that you're usually
be
supposed
an email savage.
Yes. But for the most part,
you don't need to end every sentence with an exclamation point and add emojis and thumbs up.
Or you could only do that.
Yeah.
I don't even sign off anymore. I just put my name. Like, you should know who it is.
Yes.
That's a good point.
The methods of communication are changing these days. In my non-work email, I looked at it yesterday. It's got 31,000 unanswered emails.
I think my work email has I don't.
That's awful.
Too many.
Is yours completely red?
It's I only have like a couple hundred that I haven't opened, but they're usually like ads.
Okay.
Like that, whereas my like direct message inbox is different. Like I'm pretty good about getting back to that unless it's like in the weird like subfolder folder. I don't even venture into the subfolder folder because that's where like hell has escaped into
weird
that folder.
Stuff.
The weird stuff ends up in the subfolder folder. Guys, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. She just got her first. How'd you feel about that? That's what you just saw right there is every time a super chat comes in, the crisis meter starts to move upwards, and you get shot with money from the money guns.
Wow.
You can keep that.
Thank you.
We'll let you keep that.
Yeah, funds are a little low right now. So,
guys, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. But before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already? We are fast approaching 75,000 subscribers. Hopefully, we will hit that by the end of the week, which is very, very exciting. So thank you so much for that. Remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there. Perhaps you have a question for Isabelle. Maybe you have to ask her something, or you have a comment on whatever we're talking about. We will interrupt the discussion. We'll read it right then and there. Then we'll get back on topic as best as we can. Also, remember to please share these videos with your friends. We want more people to come in here, hang out, join these live streams, and check out the videos. All right, so today what we're going to be talking about. So GQ magazine has named their Men of the Year, and one of those Men of the Year happens to be Kim Kardashian. You may wonder, is there something off? Did I mishear that? No, you did not mishear that. Kim Kardashian is one of the Men of the Year. But given the fact that nobody really knows what the hell the difference is between men and women these days anyways, I guess it's on brand for 2023. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about this bombshell new report that says that Will Smith has in fact been caught doing gay stuff. That's the best way I can describe it.
He had an entanglement with an actor named Dwayne Martin, who I had never heard of, but they're longtime friends, and all of them are denying it.
I actually have so Dwayne Martin, he's the one, he played the one smart character in a horror movie ever. He was in the movie Scream 2. And he played the cameraman, Gail's cameraman, who just leaves halfway through the movie because people are dying. It's genius. He's just he comes back.
What no horror character has ever done.
He leaves and then comes back when the killer's caught. Like he's
He's a
genius.
legend.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Anne Hathaway, who calls out the ageism in Hollywood, which is a pretty frequent topic, I think. Much more for women, I think, than for men. And I think that's a fair discussion to have. She said basically about after the age of 35 that they expected women to just be discarded and gotten rid of. So we'll have a discussion on that topic. Also, an influencer, a child influencer named Danielle Cohn, right? Cohn, yes. Right? Okay. Danielle Cohn is being outed as lying about her age, which is problematic because she's been sexualized in the media.
Yeah, I mean, lying about your age in general is probably a bad idea, but her mother has been profiting off of her sexualized public image for a long time.
Yeah, so we'll get into that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you ladies are ready, we will just get started. Mary, are you ready?
Let's go.
Are you ready?
Ready.
They're ready. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. First things first, not that long ago, we started talking about how much we enjoy Gwyneth Paltrow on the show because she's completely vapid. She's completely disconnected from reality.
She's
she has
unapologetically elitist.
And rich and has nothing in common with you or I, nor does she pretend to have anything in common with you or I, which is why we found her ski trial so unbelievably hilarious. But we're not the only ones because there is going to be a Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial musical in London.
I love this idea. I wish I could see it myself.
So it says a London theater announced it's called Gwen Goes Skiing, a satire musical.
Not Gwyneth?
It's called, Gwyneth Goes Skiing.
Okay.
Thank you. Gwyneth Goes Skiing, a satire musical based on the actress and wellness guru's 2016 ski slope collision with a retired optometrist and subsequent 2023 courtroom battle where she successfully defended herself against the lawsuit.
She's the Goop founding, door sliding, Shakespeare loving, consciously uncoupling Hollywood superstar. He's a retired optometrist from Utah. In 2016, they went skiing on the slopes of Deer Valley. Their worlds collided, and so did they. Ouch.
It's a great name, but then it says 7 years later in 2023, they went to court. Double ouch. This is the story. Kind of. Not really. But also, it's at Christmas.
I actually want to see the Hallmark movie.
Yes, that would be good. We need more of that because now what I've noticed is there's actually more. I see more memes about Hallmark movies now than actual Hallmark movies. There's all the parodies.
I don't watch them, but maybe I should give it a try.
I feel like you'd hate them.
Do you like Hallmark movies?
I think I like them. I don't really watch them often, but sometimes you need a palate cleanser from all the filth that's out there. And it's very just like, it's always going to be wholesome.
It's predictable.
It's always going to be wholesome. It
predictable
makes you feel
doesn't always mean
good.
bad.
They're not going to subvert your expectations.
No, and sometimes, I don't know, I think sometimes you do need that comfort movie. Like everyone has a comfort food.
Safe space, if you will.
Space, yeah.
Predictable doesn't always mean bad. That's actually a big problem that they have in pro wrestling is they get mad when the storyline follows the line they think it's going to go down. And then you have to realize that just because they told the story they expected to tell doesn't mean the story was done poorly. It just means that they followed through on something tried and true. I have no problem with them making this musical, though. I don't think I would ever go see it, but I'm not going to be in London anytime soon, so maybe I wouldn't be able to. But also say the audience will also get to serve as the jury and help decide her fate.
That's awesome.
Now I really want to go.
interactive.
So it's interactive. Okay. So like the idea is like you could go in there like maybe you've hated Gwyneth Paltrow your whole life. Maybe you're like, look, Pepper Potts is annoying.
Like Goop products are terrible.
Goop is stupid. That necklace
Said
vibrator.
no one ever.
That necklace vibrator was an affront to humanity. I'm going to this trial and I'm finding her guilty. You could do that.
There was do you like Goop products? Or
I have not ever purchased a Goop product.
There was a Wall Street Journal article about like Goop switching gears to like gaining Gen Z's attention. So maybe the product for you, Mary, will come out soon.
But how would they do that? Like I don't know what her
I don't know. Maybe you should give her some ideas.
She's planning on selling the company in the upcoming years anyway. She's announced that.
I don't know if she's really gonna penetrate the market for Gen Z.
She said like I'm gonna sell Goop and disappear forever. You will not be hearing from me. Peace out. Like you have to,
that's the most relatable
give her
thing
props
she's ever
for
said.
that.
Like everyone dreams of that someday. Like you're having a bad day at work and you're like, if I had this money, I would just get in a van down by the river and never come back. Everyone kind of.
Well, she's gonna be in the Calabasas mansion by the river.
To never come back. I too daydream of that some days. I'm like, look, one day I'm out of here and I'm gonna leave this podcasting mishgas and I'm going somewhere else, never to be seen again. Could happen someday. I got some sad news last night.
Sad news for
from
Brett.
Vanessa
And men everywhere.
And Vanessa and just about everybody who follows me on Twitter sent me this last night. Tiffany Gomez has officially been taken off the market by Alex Stein.
They recreated the Lady and the Tramp scene even.
I cried. I admit, I cried. In fact, I said, because Vanessa tagged me in it, she says, CC at Brett Dasovic, sorry, buddy. Which I took as being a little bit confrontational. That was a little bit like she was like owning me right there.
Was it the buddy part?
Yeah, it was the buddy part. She's like, sorry.
Yeah.
Like even, but any
did you
word
dirty.
there, if she had said pal, I would have taken it the same way. She could have said like, Brett, I'm truly sorry for your loss. That would have been better. Let's watch the video.
Hold on. Oh no.
Tiffany, after this moment,
She didn't complete the moment.
No,
though.
she did not
after
quite.
the
Yeah.
feelings that you felt from that and I felt from that, I wanted to ask you if you would take my hand in marriage. This is a real ring to the people. We just shared that moment, that spaghetti, and I do have HIV. I'm HIV positive.
This is so aggressive.
I know, but you can say yes, and then we can spend our lives together.
How about we put it on the right hand?
No, I think the correct hand for the marriage.
The right one's good.
Jimmy, is Hank watching this? Will you tweet this at
Also,
Hank?
you gotta realize I have small fingers. That's gonna be too big.
Well, we're gonna
I
get
shared
it
it directly to
tightened.
Hank.
And it's a heart.
Yes, it's the most beautiful thing because it says I love. This is for love. And then you can keep
And I
this.
have a cowboy hat.
Yeah, because I wear a
I
cowboy
can
hat
match
sometimes.
you.
Look at this.
Perfect.
Somebody did come to my defense. They said he had the home field advantage because he's there in Texas.
I know.
The power couple of 2023. Look at them.
It broke my heart just a little bit, and what's worse is then every time she does anything, I get tagged by about 10,000 people telling me like as if I don't already follow her and repost. Like I replay. It's really funny because like my Instagram is very much like curated. It's mostly humor and memes, which I repost on my story, and then there's just a random thing of Tiffany Gomez like wearing denim. It has nothing to do with anything, and somebody's like,
That
"What is
photo
this?"
shoot was fire.
And somebody's like, what is this? I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel morally obligated to repost whatever she posts whenever she posts anything. So it was a sad day to find out that she has been taken off the market. So
Few people have capitalized on a viral moment as well as she did.
I was gonna say, all I have to do is get on a plane and start like screaming at someone to launch a media career.
you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. I mean, she
Duly
worked in
noted.
she worked in marketing. So,
Okay.
So that was her job beforehand. So she knew
Well,
exactly
it still
what she was
is. Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why, I mean, a lot of people wondered why after the initial incident, she didn't say anything for like a month. She got all her ducks in a row and then launched her media career into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
That's a
Very smart
gal.
lady.
Yeah.
Very
It is
smart
really
lady.
messed up that they like posted a picture of her house and staked out her
Yeah,
house
that
like
is messed
that,
up.
taking pictures of her through the windows, like no boundaries whatsoever.
Nope. All right, so I will mourn my loss in private later, I promise. Mary, what's going on with this Leonardo DiCaprio thing? It's his birthday?
He recently celebrated his 49th birthday party, and despite the fact that he looks like someone incapable of having fun at a party,
He does.
He
doesn't
totally
he?
does.
he's being dunked on right now because he did a cringe karaoke rap song. I don't know what song this is, but I guess we can't. Can we play it?
I don't know if we can play it or not.
Is it cringe to be rapping at your 49th birthday party?
Thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, it's your birthday party.
A lot of people say like after a certain age you shouldn't even have birthday parties because
That's
it's like
just defeatist and stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
they also say men shouldn't have
I don't
birthday
like.
parties.
that's
I
so
actually know.
lame.
Here's the thing. This is a do as I say, not as I do, because I wouldn't want to have the party, and I am actually one of those. Like
Most men just don't want to be the center of attention
yes.
that way.
So for me, it's like. It's more like anytime like it's your birthday and people are being nice to you, all I think about is like, why aren't people nice to you every day?
Every day.
Like everyone's like, oh, it's
Only is that the glass half empty.
I'm kind of a pessimist, so it's like on my birthday I tend to be more like, yeah, but tomorrow's gonna be different, so what does it really matter?
Dang.
But the real belief should be that like you're only alive for so long, take any chance you can to celebrate because life's short.
I think birthdays are more like, I think how I view them and how I think is a fun way to view them in general is it's an opportunity to get your friends and family together. So it's not about, doesn't have to be about you. It can be like centered, or it can be like opened outward to be like focused on other people or some kind of like community thing. So I appreciate when friends are like, let's do this because like we haven't gotten together in a while and we're going to use my birthday as an excuse.
I got a question for you then.
Yeah.
How do you feel about celebrating birthday week?
No, you have one day.
Exactly.
And then I know people who have done birthday months before and they have
You
like
do?
a count.
I'm
Yes.
on a
In high school,
one-man-
there was a girl in my class. She did a birthday month. And I was like, girl, like there are only 12 months in the year. Like you don't get a whole month for your birthday.
I've gone off on multiple occasions on this show. I said, birthday week, I don't support it, but at least it's not as bad as something as awful as birthday month, which is the most narcissistic thing on planet Earth.
Yes. Like how did that concept even like come into being? I just can't
No one
imagine.
knows. I mean,
Yeah.
we just live in a very, very self-obsessed
Yeah.
society these
It's
days.
true.
We do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no birthday months for anyone here.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tell Leo to have his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese.
That would be good too, but unfortunately,
But-
the childhood rat casino is no longer going to have the rats. What the hell?
They're getting rid of all the animatronics
Oh.
after the FNAF movie came out because the children are going to be scared of them.
Yeah,
They are really scary.
I was scared of them as a child.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're horrifying.
Yeah, I didn't find them scary, but mine was more how dirty the place always
Ow,
looked.
It is so gross.
The kids don't
Yeah.
notice.
It's grody.
Yeah, like it's I was never a huge fan of, but now it's also become like a meme where like when everybody sees it, they look at it and they see all like any TV show that does like a parallel to it where they have like a restaurant that's supposed to be like Chuck E. Cheese. It's always filthy. Like it's always really, really gross. The animals look like they've just been covered in coffee and like stained.
I want to try the Chuck E. Cheese recycled pizza.
Got to do it.
Recycled pizza?
Even I
Have you
did
heard
it.
about this?
No.
There is a conspiracy theory, which I would say is factual, that Chuck E. Cheese recycles pizza that has been left behind at people's tables. They just kind of put it together in like a misshapen semicircle and tell you that it's fresh. It is not fresh.
You know what? I did hear about that before. Thank you for reminding me of it,
Yeah.
so I can think about it.
I once, and I've told
And I
Mary-
want to try it.
I
I want
once-
to try the forbidden pizza.
I once ordered Chuck E. Cheese pizza on Uber Eats.
Are you kidding me?
No, it was.
How
I
long
did.
ago was this?
4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Did it disappoint?
No, it was perfectly
Was
good.
it recycled?
It tasted much like cheesy cardboard.
So I have a question. Did you order Chuck E. Cheese pizza because there were no other pizza places in the area?
No, I was literally the novelty. I was like, I can order Chuck E. Cheese pizza
Okay.
and not have to get dirty by going into a Chuck E. Cheese.
Was it
Okay.
misshapen? Did the pieces look like they belonged to other pizzas?
No.
The
No,
cheese,
not that.
the
I feel like I'd
celery.
remember that. I feel like I would have remembered that. The cheese was unbelievably like chewy.
They
Oh.
I love it.
they put out an official statement saying like we don't do that, but then they wouldn't explain why the pizzas look like that. Like there's no reason why they would look like they came from 12 different pizzas.
Yeah. Who knows?
If they're not recycling them. It's so weird.
Is it just because they're cheap, so they have to recycle the pizza?
Yeah. Literally.
But they get so much money.
Even
from the,
through
from the-
COVID.
It's the childhood rat casino must make tons of money. Casinos have huge
The
profit
kids are
margins, don't they?
gambling, the parents are drinking, getting rowdy and fighting each other.
The other thing that could be good about this, I don't know if this is true, but maybe if you check behind your local Chuck E. Cheese, maybe you'll find a discarded animatronic rat you can take home.
Oh yeah, why don't they sell them?
They should.
I definitely feel like there would be a market for it. There's a market for the weird
Collectibles and stuff, yeah. Like, there's
they're
people-
like tall though, so like you would have to have a really big space. You have to have high ceilings.
I hated
for
the way
it.
that they blinked. Like why did they have to blink and like look? They would just shift their eyes around.
They are objectively creepy. Like they're horrifying.
Also, the mascot version that would walk around and like take pictures with kids, that one always terrified me. I would be screaming, crying every time he came out. I did not want to. I didn't want to get anywhere near that guy. You don't know who could be in there. I was a cynical kid,
like
so I
those-
knew that there was a guy in the suit, and I didn't believe in Santa.
You never believed in Santa?
No.
Wow.
The background checks.
Too smart for it.
The background checks were probably insane after a certain period of time to get that job.
Oh,
I would hope.
Or they weren't.
I would hope that the background checks were just like.
I mean, you got to think about like. I mean, I don't mean to disparage anyone who like does that for a living, but it's kind of interesting. Or people who do like the mascots on sports teams too, I always find very intriguing.
No, yeah, I had such a creepy experience with a minor league baseball mascot.
Oh gosh.
When I was like 13, I was with my friends walking around the stadium and the mascot came up to my friend and I was just being like a stupid kid. So I was like, you should give him a hug. So she did. And then he wouldn't let go. He wouldn't let go of her. It was so weird. You
Fun
don't know
fact.
who's in there.
Yeah.
Fun fact:
Yeah, you don't.
the mascot for the Denver Nuggets makes more than the highest paid WNBA player.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Right now I'm seeing a headline that says the Nuggets own the Clippers.
Is it a golden nugget? Is it just like a
No,
or a
I forget.
miner,
It's,
maybe?
it's like a tiger or it's an animal of some sort.
Okay.
I don't
That doesn't
remember.
make any
I don't
sense.
remember
But
what
I
it
think it'd
is.
be like a miner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it's an animal of some sort. But yeah, but they put on crazy halftime shows that require like actual athletics. So
Got it.
they're just performers, you know?
So I'm from Philly, and then I've always been intrigued by the Philadelphia mascots because there's the Philly fanatic.
Yeah.
He's just like this green monster, and he like dances and like rolls his stomach around in circles, and then puts people under his shirt.
Yes, yes. Or he's done
Have
it.
you seen that?
Is he
He
the one
sticks
who
his
does
tongue
like who's
out.
the guy who like? Have you seen the video of the one who's on the field and just swallows the cheerleader?
With his shirt?
Yeah. Or
That,
like,
the Philly fanatic does that. He brings people up on top of the dugout and dances with them and like bounces them off his stomach and then like
Why is
puts
that
their
his
shirt
thing?
because he's from Philly and he's a little quirky.
Okay.
And then have you guys seen Gritty, the Flyers mascot
No.
from Philly? He has like a whole origin story. Like they the hockey, because we were talking about hockey earlier. So he's the hockey the Flyers mascot, and they like renovated the stadium and they're like doing like heavy construction on it. So he has an origin story that they were like doing like really aggressive drilling in the ground or whatever, and he like was awoken from his sleep and like crawled out like some kind of like post-nuclear like being or something. But you should
Okay.
look him up if you haven't.
that's
seen
great.
him.
Give them origin stories.
I think
better.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about this a little bit, guys. So the fervor around the Marvels continues. People are still very angry about this. Stephen King himself has gotten involved in this
Yeah.
discussion, and they have roped in other YouTubers like Nerdrotic, like Yellow Flash, even a certain Tim Pool got brought up in one of these articles. But Stephen King himself, he beclowns himself
Yes.
by white knighting for the Marvels.
He said, I don't go to MCU movies, don't care for them, but I find this barely masked gloating over the low box office for the Marvels very unpleasant. Why gloat over failure? Some of the rejection of the Marvels may be adolescent fanboy hate. You know, yuck, girls.
And what he's like, what it is they take the lowest common denominator excuse for something like this, and then try to basically straw man everyone's arguments and make it seem like they don't they're not actually arguing in good faith. What I bother with, so it's like when they complain, like when Stephen King complains about Donald Trump or about something he doesn't like, they're giving you a smart, articulate take that's coming from an honest place. But when you, the person who disagrees with him, is arguing with someone, he's saying that what you're doing is being you're either just trolling or you just don't like girls.
You know
he's
what? I
being
plead
disingenuous.
guilty. I didn't want to watch a Wham and Marvels movie.
So, but it's
You
also,
got me.
Like, why would you like? It's also kind of speaks to this like thing that we have to have an opinion on everything now. If it doesn't involve him, he even admits himself in other articles that he doesn't watch these movies. Why does he feel the need to speak on something that he has no? He doesn't have a bone.
Because
in this,
Stephen King is an ideologue.
yeah, but
I'm surprised that he has a verification check, by the way. Because I
'Cause he
assume that
pays
he
for it?
hates Elon Musk.
Yeah.
But he's paying him.
yeah. So it's like, so not liking Marvel is one thing, but then being like just hating on the people who don't like it just seems like engagement farming to me these days. Like for somebody like him, Like it's just an easy way to engagement for him. I don't know why he'd need to do that. Stephen King has made plenty of money in his lifetime.
Is he as wealthy as J.K. Rowling or?
That's an interesting question. Like based on name recognition alone, I would say that he hasn't had a series that's as successful as her, but it's not like his name is any less well known than her name is.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King is a pretty synonymous name with horror.
I guess his stuff can't be sold to kids.
Yes.
So.
But it's also, it's like when you do that, when you belittle somebody else's critique, it weakens your own argument because you're not willing to argue on the merits of the project. And if you haven't even seen the project they're talking about, how can you even have like a thought on it at all?
I think that if Stephen King actually went through the effort of watching the Marvels, he would agree with us.
I mean, I don't think he would ever admit it publicly.
No.
But also, like I said, a bunch of other YouTubers have kind of been targeted by YouTube and people on Twitter that are attempting to get them censored because they don't agree with their opinions on this movie. And again, I laugh at the weird cultural decline we're in now, where this is the battleground for people, where somehow the end-all be-all of all things is like a popcorn film from like a major corporation here in the West. But it says numerous YouTubers, including Nerdrotic, Yellow Flash, The Critical Drinker, Jesse Grant, were all targeted by social media users wanting them removed for YouTube because their opinions on the Marvels, which are what they classify as hateful videos.
So it looks like some Marvel shill with Brie Larson in profile picture.
Yep.
Posted the top results for the Marvels reviews, and they're mostly negative. And Team YouTube replied to them saying you can remove recommended videos on your homepage by selecting not interested. This will influence how YouTube suggests videos to you in the future. And then they said, we definitely want our community to help flag inappropriate content to ensure YouTube is a safe place for everyone, especially Brie Larson. If you come across something that violates YouTube policies, report it with the following steps. Thank
Mary
you.
might have added the especially Brie Larson part in there. Just maybe. But this goes to what they're always talking about. Look, when it's hate speech, when it's what they consider to be hate speech, it's a problem and needs to be removed. When it's something you or I don't like, we're just adult enough to just not listen to it, not watch it, or disagree with it openly. But they don't want that. They want to be able to control what everyone sees and hears. Mm-hmm. These types of comments.
It's also just so lame because I mean, like, people have every right to like dunk on art that they dislike. It's not that like they're like disparaging one particular person or like slandering someone. It's like, this is art that's been put out there for everyone to see, and if the reviews are mainly negative, then that maybe is saying something about the art itself, you know? Like,
one of the problems I have with it is like they love to elevate their art to the level of poetry without admitting that what you're creating is really just a for-profit product that's being made by a company, and it's a little bit different. You don't get to put this out there for millions of people to watch, reap the benefits of that by making a ton of money, but then only get to hear the stuff you want to hear back to you. And it also annoys them because as much as they always yammer on about the idea of democracy, this is actual true democracy, meaning that the people whose videos do well, the people who find an audience that resonates with the material they make, their videos get recommended more than others, because when a video does well, it will find its way to the recommended page faster and more frequently. So it's actually like a sign of the public latching on to what they say and agreeing with them. And people don't like that because they want to be able to control how the public sees and hears things. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of that.
Forbes published an article called "The Marvels Faces Anti-Woke Backlash After Box Office Flop," echoing Captain Marvel attacks. You can't attack a fictional character.
Nope. Also, it's weird because now I wonder when these things are going to come up. It kind of came up during Indiana Jones. It comes up in some of these movies, but you never know what are going to end up being these cultural problems for people, and they end up taking on a life of their own in a lot of ways. Like, you wouldn't expect them to blow up. It's not like there's more attention being paid to this film on the internet than there is in the actual box office, and it just proves that women didn't come out to watch this movie. Women came out to watch Barbie because women wanted to watch Barbie. Did you see Barbie?
I did.
What'd you think?
Mixed feelings.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. What did you like about it?
I loved how much they leaned into it. I thought the set was awesome. I thought that everyone looked fantastic. I saw like a lot of different think pieces on it, which is funny because I don't think it was meant to be like that deep of a movie, but there were like people coming out from like the deeper, like conservative, like more like I read a piece in like the American Conservative about it, and it was like a really serious piece, and it was good, but I was just like, wow, like everyone is writing about this movie, which I think goes to show how kind of like starved we are for just like normal good art in general, where everyone is writing about Barbie. It was a bit much. Anyway, I thought, because Greta Gerwig is interesting to me because, not to go on a whole tangent here, she's like got a Christian upbringing, and she definitely likes her Christian themes, and you know, she definitely saturates her movie with them, but I'm not sure I agree with all the conclusions that she comes to. And I thought that the end was kind of sloppy, where they do the whole montage of like, life is beautiful and you get old and there's emotions involved and it's tough, and you know, you'll feel the highs and the lows, but that's what's so beautiful about it. Like, I kind of like love that part of it, but then it seems like she doesn't do a good enough job of really like drawing that theme out in like a sophisticated way throughout the movie, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they just kind of like try to slap it on.
The third act was definitely a bit rushed towards the end.
And poor Ken.
Yes, everyone knows
poor
that Ken.
Ken.
Even though I think he got nominated for a Grammy for
for his
the
song.
got nominated for a Grammy.
That was an amazing scene, and I Ryan Gosling was perfectly cast for that. But again, like, I mean, the woman empowerment doesn't have to come at the expense of the man being like, oh, go shoe and find yourself. Like, no, like, men and women are meant to be together. It's beautiful when they couple up and they like, you know, have a life together. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like we go our separate ways and find ourselves. Like, we can grow together. Like, I don't like that part of it either. So I thought there was a lot of salvageable things in that movie, but as a whole, I mean, it's fun. I enjoyed watching it. It was like it was definitely a highlight of my summer to go see it with a friend. But like,
it was an objectively better movie than the Marvels.
Even though I didn't like Barbie, it was a better movie than the Marvels. So
and these articles are not reflecting what the criticisms of the Marvels were.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, when you read these criticisms that these people have, like what a Stephen King is saying of the people critiquing it, they're not being fair to the people who are listing real problems that these movies have.
Forbes said the movie has been targeted by right-wing critics who accuse the female-led film, which stars multiple women of color, of being woke. I didn't think that the main criticism was that it's woke. It's that it's lazy.
It was just a bad movie.
And then it was just a bad movie.
It didn't have any, like, it had what I consider to be the cringe all the women get along all the time thing, which isn't real life, because in life-threatening situations in the real world, conflict is more realistic than everyone just suddenly getting along all the time.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was
the black
bad.
girl magic line was very on the nose, but they always sprinkle in one or two things like that.
And I already forgot about that. Like, that line didn't bother me the same way.
That was not the main criticism.
Yeah. No, it was just poorly constructed and poorly done. But this person says there's literally, this is more to do with YouTube taking these reports from people who are criticizing them. So it says there's literally a video that has racist language. I'm sure it's been reported, but y'all do nothing about it.
What racist language?
This was for the Nerdrotics video about Blue Beetle. When a video is reported, it won't automatically be taken down. Once we've confirmed it's violated our guidelines, we'll act on it. Also, if you've already flagged the videos, you can share its URL so it can be passed along for another review. If it passed one review, what is that basically saying, that it needs another review so that somebody else who's going to have a less charitable take will then finally be the one to take it down? Mm-hmm. Like, just keep reporting it until finally one of the people...
It's up to whatever moderator is working from home that day.
And everyone knows that these systems can absolutely be abused. Copyright systems get abused. Reporting systems get abused all the time. It's not uncommon. And it sucks because it really is just as easy to just not look at it.
Oh, here's what Tim Pool said. Get woke, go broke.
Wow. That was his big takeaway.
Earth-shattering.
I don't know. It's like, it's
a
just
novel phrase. Never heard it.
It's one of the reasons why I get annoyed, because when we do these reviews, I want to go into, because if anything, I get kind of labeled as somebody who's too giving towards Hollywood still. Like, I'm still willing to be lied to by Hollywood. I'm still willing to give them a chance when I go to the movies. If I'm let down 99 times out of 100, I made a post the other day. I reposted the end of Top Gun Maverick, and I said, this is why I don't give up on Hollywood. When they get it wrong 99% of the time, that sucks. But when they get it right, they get it really, really right. And I don't have a problem with that. So I take issue with the idea that when I go in to review this movie, I'm just going into it to hate it. I'm not. I'm going into any movie we review hoping to be pleasantly surprised. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have biases that creep in, right? That happens. But it's an unfair characterization of the review process or of how you interpret art to say that you're just doing it because you're dunking. It's like calling, like somebody saying Republican talking points. I'm like, bro, I never was, never have been, and never will be a Republican. So miss me with that nonsense. Like, just no. It's stupid, but these are now, this and Rotten Tomatoes have somehow been some part of battleground we're on now, which makes me think more and more that we live in absurd times, just like Noah Schnapp holding a sticker that says Zionism is sexy. What freaking planet am I living on in the year 2023?
It's meant to make you feel insane.
It feels that way. It really does.
It's intentional.
It really does.
I like your point about like the talking points. Like, I'm going to a movie with my talking points ready to go. It's like these people who are writing these articles are doing the exact same thing that they're like accusing the people that they're writing about of doing. Like they're like these articles are pre-written. Yeah. Like they're just like filtering
Chat
it for like
GPT.
right winger slams woke movie as woke. It's like no, like you had that like pre-written. It's just like a lens that you were basically filtering everything through now, and it's so boring, and everyone sees right through it.
Yeah, and that's the world we live in. But I think a lot of that is because of the digital age, and everybody's like I wonder if you could have these same discussions with people in person and have a more cordial discussion.
I think I 100%. I think like sometimes like even like you guys might have had this experience, like you see how someone behaves online and you've met them in person, you're like, that person is so nice and so pleasant and agreeable in person, and I look at their persona online, it's like, whoa, like
it's not the same person.
Or someone acts totally different on camera.
Yeah. So
it's also like the internet as a whole, especially video internet like this, or something like Twitter, it's a deconstructionist tool, meaning that everything you read when somebody says something, you're going to give it the least charitable interpretation you could possibly give it, depending on how you feel about that person. So what you're saying is... Essentially what they're saying is like, be wary anytime somebody uses those phrases when they're critiquing someone directly, because they're trying to boil down their argument to a straw man that isn't necessarily fair to what they're actually trying to say. And at least like the problem is this type of discussion doesn't do as well as sensationalist language and hit pieces. So sucks. All right, what would you we do segments here today. We do cute of the day and cringe of the day. What would you like to see, cute or cringe first?
Cute.
Cute? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about your personality, right?
I think it probably does. It's like it's some kind of litmus test for what it says about who we are.
Get first? So people usually say cringe first. Or...
I always want to see cringe last.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I enjoy cringe.
We're going to do the cute of the day first here then. This is from this is from King, New Jersey on Twitter. Says 22-year-old named Dallas from Waretown, New Jersey, and his house friend.
I almost thought you meant your dog was 22 years old.
Wow.
Like submit him for Guinness World Record or something.
22-year-old named Dallas from what? I mean, it says 22.
The dog is 22?
I guess it says 22.
Wow,
okay, and then
an old dog.
Another dog is just chilling in the background.
Yeah, just hanging out.
And a bird.
Yeah, I barely
That's
noticed
the house
that.
friend. So it's very cute.
Yeah.
I like the blush on the bird.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's natural makeup.
All right, we got one more
So
here.
jealous.
This one is from Mistress D. Says Flora the cow is trans reindeer. Despite her confusion, she's still the sweetest of princesses and discovered the couches are the greatest thing ever, especially when a human being is also on it to snuggle with. I can't play the music. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Stop it. There we go.
It's the most
It's
wonderful time.
that is very cute.
I didn't know a calf could be that small.
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
It's adorable.
It is very cute.
What do you guys think when people put the reindeer antlers on their car?
There's worse. I know one that's 110% worse, and I
What?
saw it yesterday.
The ladybug eyelashes?
The eyelashes.
Oh, you did.
I saw the eyelashes yesterday, and I could feel the child support payments
I could
from
see the nails.
I could see the nails and the Yas Queen Slay sticker on the back that I couldn't actually see.
What do you think about personalized license plates?
I would never do it. I would never do it.
What do you think about the Mary?
I might in the future, but
what would Mary get?
I don't know.
I need to know what the hell Mary would get as
what would you
personalized
do,
license
actually?
plates.
I saw one I really liked one time that said misery.
Oh wow.
It was just the word misery. Like it'd be something pithy like that.
Something pithy like misery.
That's just okay. All right.
What if it was just like Mary? I had a.
Well, you have to have like 8 characters, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
It doesn't have to be.
Or no,
there's no minimum.
No.
There's a maximum.
I knew a girl who had her name before. I won't say her name, but
Was it another girl with a birthday month?
she had tendencies like that, but she never, not to my knowledge, that did she have a birthday month, but she did do things that would lead one to believe or make a guess or something.
She might drink out of
does it.
Stanley cups.
What is a Stanley Cup?
Do you know what it is, Brett?
Okay, the Stanley. I don't know what you're talking about. The Stanley Cup is the
like the hockey.
is the hockey championship.
Yeah, like
yes.
the trophy.
Yes.
No. The Stanley cups are
I
the
have no idea.
$75 tumblers that girls all have
I'm looking
now.
it up.
That have
Well, the
like
only Stanley Cup I would want.
they have a
to
straw and a
drink out of-
handle.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know
you know
it.
it when you see it.
The only.
They're literally $75 for a cup.
Wow.
It's,
Like no cup is worth that much money. I got one for Christmas though.
Dude, I have seen these like all over the place. It's just crazy. Water bottles have just become like an accessory in the past, I don't know, like 10 years or something.
People are drinking too much water at this point.
I think, have you ever heard of being water cucked?
No.
It's like you drink way.
Excuse me?
Have you heard of that before?
No.
It's like you drink way too much water.
Why would it be called that?
It just is.
Does it like to watch you while you're
No,
drinks?
it's just like you're being like,
What?
oh, yes, another glass of water. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, well,
Okay then.
I have never heard of that.
well, now you have.
Okay, guys, just remember, if you want to submit your pets for Q to the Day, hashtag PCC Pets, hashtag Q to the Day. Tag me in there. The easiest way to find there is on Twix. I will catch it if I'm tagged in it under hashtag PCC Pets. We love to feature your animals here. But we also have Cringe of the Day. This one made me laugh. Mary sent me this one. Let's listen to this.
A TikTok dentist.
A TikTok dentist breaks down Cardi B's tongue.
Why this tongue shows a lot of stress. Now, in addition, this tongue shows a very thick tongue coat with like a yellow hue to it, and the tongue coat is rather dry looking, right? But the tongue coat is very thick. So this usually means something called damp heat. So damp heat is when a person feels very lazy. All of a sudden, they feel kind of like greasy. Their skin feels greasy. Just everything feels kind of like greasy and unclean. And sometimes this could also manifest in certain symptoms, such as like BO issue or frequent UTI.
She's reading her.
This kind of thing. So damp heat is definitely something that is very important to handle. And this is what I see in Cardi B's tongue.
This okay, so the other day I was talking to Mary about, so like if you have like an interesting profession, you can like work any celebrity into it. So I went on this weird rabbit hole where this lady, it was like a female dentist who was basically, she's like these are all of Taylor Swift's veneers.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's one of those things where it's so stupid by the time you're done watching it, you're like, why did I spend 10 minutes watching that? But it was like she had like a bunch of these YouTube shorts, and I thought, because we were going to talk about
And the plastic surgery
Yeah.
TikToks do really well too. Analyzing what fillers people have gotten.
Yeah.
I kind of find this fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's and then like they'll do before and afters of celebrities, and then like you wonder how you didn't notice it before, why they look so different now, but you just didn't catch it before. So yeah, all right, all right, guys.
I think Cardi B is gonna sue her.
I mean, given what happened last time with the one lady, that's completely plausible. So all right, let's go ahead and get started now that we are 44 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mary, tell us what's going on with Kim Kardashian, who happens to be woman/man of the year.
It's Man of the Year, yeah. Kim Kardashian has been featured on GQ's Men of the Year cover. She is the star of it. So I guess she's following in her stepfather's footsteps. If Caitlyn Jenner and Dylan Mulvaney can be Woman of the Year, what's to stop Kim Kardashian from being the man of the year, I ask.
Makes perfect sense.
What is a woman?
That we don't know anymore. They couldn't. Ketanji Brown Jackson couldn't tell us, and I doubt that the people at GQ would be able to tell us either.
So I guess she's just using this as an opportunity to promote her Skims loungewear line. She's opening it up to men. And they also use this piece as a bit of a tribute to her late father, Robert Kardashian, who famously defended O.J. Simpson in that famous trial. And I actually didn't know some of this information. I guess Kris Jenner was close friends with Nicole Brown Simpson, and she was on Nicole's side. And OJ obviously was on his friend's side. Robert Kardashian was on OJ's side because they were college buddies. So this was a big point of contention between them as co-parents at the time. And
look, bros before hoes. Everyone knows that.
They brought the Kardashian children, the sisters, to watch the acquittal trial.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy to be there for a moment in history like that.
I was actually thinking about this before, the name of the family means very different things to very different people spanning multiple generations in this country, because I forget all the time that Rob Kardashian was connected to the OJ trial in the past. So because when I think of the OJ trial, I think of Johnny Cochran. I think of if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. That's literally the only thing that I think of.
Yeah.
That, and I can recite all of Chris Rock's stand-up routine that talks about the
This
OJ
does
trial.
say Robert Kardashian later had questions about his friend's innocence.
Look, it's
after
his
the
job.
trial.
It's his job as his bro to take his side.
that
no
bro
matter.
code?
That's the bro code states you take his side. Plus, he's a lawyer, so he has deniability as far as morals, anyways. So he gets.
We were
to
having
just,
a long discussion about this before the show.
Yeah, it's his job as
he's
the bro.
not obligated to defend him in court, though.
It's true.
He
did that as a favor.
I pitched a movie. Okay, so I pitched a movie.
This should be a movie, by the way.
Yes, okay, so this was my pitch. So if they were going to soften this and make this a movie about Rob Kardashian's moral dilemma while representing OJ. So in the movie, first of all, they would find a way to soften what happened to make it look like either an accident or manslaughter. They would find a way to make the actual death something that the audience wouldn't necessarily... Maybe they fought and it happened accidentally, whatever. They would have softened that. He would have had something in his past that OJ stood by him on. They were in college and he got in trouble and he stood by him. So there would be some emotional connection.
Robert
through.
Kardashian got Me Too'd when they were at USC.
Yeah, this is all my movie pitch. So that, and then the idea is that he defends him. He knows that he's guilty because a good defense lawyer is going to need to know everything because they can't have surprises coming out in court. He defends him. He gets him off for the crime he did commit. But then after that happens, he finds the weight of what he's done to be too much. And although he's glad that he did it because it's what a bro does for a bro, their friendship eventually drifts apart because the weight of the actions and all of the things that have happened between them just become too much. That's a movie I would actually watch.
They're not going to mimosas after the verdict.
The idea being that this is what I mean when I say that I like the idea of gray area in film. This isn't the same thing as when they try to just randomly rehabilitate characters at the end, like Marvel does sometimes, meaning they're here's a person, they've done a bunch of bad things, but they see the error of their ways in the end. That's not the same thing. That's gray characters of a different type. It's stupid. The idea here is that the real world is just a lot more complicated than what we normally see in movies and television. And an interesting story isn't going to have good guys or bad guys. It's going to have unbelievable moral dilemmas that cause regular people to ask themselves some very difficult and pointed questions. And I think that that's interesting. I find that a lot more interesting than the idea of people just, you're either good or you're bad and that's it.
I think that's why Breaking Bad did so well.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You see, because as gray as the morals may be, their motivations make sense and are relatable to the average person, but just aren't clearly coded as good or evil, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, he should fully denounce bro code and then follow in the footsteps of Bruce Jenner and change into
there you go.
female.
And that was another thing I was going to point out was like the family name means a lot to a lot of people, meaning that so you've got Rob Kardashian and you've got OJ, you've got Kim Kardashian with a generation with my generation, meaning that a sex tape that led to an era of reality TV stars like Paris Hilton, and which gave way to influencers down the line. Caitlyn Jenner, who means something completely different to a whole other generation of people because of the inclusion of identity politics and gender identity, which is now a very, very current year issue. So it's not Hollywood or American royalty, but it's certainly some type of Hollywood dynastic legacy in a way.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I don't know how many Gen Zers know about the fact that Robert Kardashian defended O.J. Simpson. I don't think if you polled them, they would know.
I don't really think it's on the radar.
Yeah, they've reached an entirely new audience. But if Robert Kardashian had lived to see what his family name would become, I don't think that he would be happy about it. If he had lived to see maybe the reality show come into play, I don't think he would be happy about that, because they say in this article that the closeness of their family and the honor attached to that family name was important to him.
Yeah.
And now the Kardashians are synonymous with trashy tabloid culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think that she's worked to make it like a kind of a synergy between business and image, right? Like in a way, she's able to use her image to build a massive business platform that a lot of men wouldn't be able to do.
Given that her image is so important to her, I don't understand why she thought it would be a good idea to cosplay as her dad, basically for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
She's fully cross-dressing here.
She's wearing a suit. She's not cross-dressing.
Okay, well, if a guy were wearing a dress, he'd be cross-dressing.
Yeah, but there are men's and women's suits. She's just wearing a more masculine take on a suit in the picture, right? So it's supposed to be like her dad.
Brittany Martinez said, "Why do they always have men eating Cheetos on a couch in a suit?"
Yeah,
is that a thing?
I don't know, but I saw the Cheetos as like a prop, and I have
Cheetos paid for the promotion. Actually, I think they wanted to
also
have the product.
Good on her
placement.
for getting crunchy or for getting puffed and not crunchy. There's this great line in the movie. Yeah, you guys would be too young for this. There's a movie called Little Giants, which is a football movie starring Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis back in like the late 90s. And there's this kid who's just super overweight, and the idea is like he keeps food in his helmet, and he takes his helmet off, and they think he's bleeding, and there's just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then so they're going through it, and Ed O'Neill goes to him, he goes, "You're never gonna get anywhere when you use your helmet as a lunchbox, son." And then he goes, he's like, "It's still good." He bites the sandwich, and then the guy, his assistant coach, pulls out a bag of Cheetos, and he goes, "What are those?" He goes, "Cheetos, crunchy or puffed?" "Puffed, wimp." Puffed Cheetos get a bad rap. Nothing wrong with puffed Cheetos.
Yeah.
They're good.
Also, out here, we have Old Bay, like puffed Cheetos.
Ew.
They're not technically Cheeto company, but they're Old Bay.
Okay, that's gross.
No, they're incredible.
No, you're a Marylander. Old Bay is
not
like
just that, they also have Old Bay Goldfish.
Oh, I've had those before.
Those are good.
They're okay.
They're good.
Ew.
Mary's wrong, guys. She's wrong.
So in this piece, Kim talks about this instance where Robert Kardashian, a devout Christian, went to see a psychic after the OJ trial. And the psychic told him that the Kardashian name would be known internationally. And after that, he said, "That's how I know they're full of crap." And it turned out to be true, obviously.
Yeah.
And it also tells us about how Kim goes to psychics and mediums regularly. She has them on rotation. It says, in addition to her friends and family, Kim turns to psychics and mediums for reassurance. There are a few that she consults regularly. Quote, "One is more of a spiritual healer, putting out good vibes and energy. When they tell me things, I write them down. I don't walk away thinking that I'm going to read the list and make sure everything comes true. After a few days, I'll forget about it. Then 6 months after the fact, I'll reread my notes from the session and it will have happened. And then it turns around and she says, most of all, she relies on her Christian faith. And it's very well documented that
Do they go to church
going
regularly?
to psychics, mediums, witchcraft, astrology is explicitly condemned in the Bible. But the Kardashian family has always been at least nominally Christian, and she says, I'm probably more religious than most people guess. She prays with her children every night before bed. If the kids are at a sleepover, they FaceTime with Kim to say their prayers, and they also read Bible stories from the same books Robert read to Kim and her siblings when they were children.
So she's just choosing to take one aspect
You pick
of the
and
religion
choose what you want to follow.
A la carte religion.
Yeah, it's cafeteria Catholicism except for Christianity.
I mean, the real
Protestantism.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
the real job to get is to get that job as like the psychic or the medium, where like you ever heard that saying? It's like people are never going to remember what you said to them. They're just going to remember how they made you feel. That's like
There are so many charlatans out there,
Yeah.
but there are also real ones. I mean, I don't doubt for a second that there are some real psychics out there that make real predictions about. What are you looking at me for?
You think they're real?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. They communicate with demons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I haven't
and
thought about this enough.
they'll tell people, "Oh, I'm communicating with your dead relatives," but it's actually a demon.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
I know I haven't thought about this enough, but she should get her tongue read like by that woman.
Oh yeah, tongue reading.
That's gonna be the next thing.
Like
that she
rather than
reads.
palm
Tongue reading
rather
is
than
going to
palm
replace
reading.
palm reading.
But
my
it made me
dentist makes
think of it
predictions.
made me
Okay.
think because I was watching The West Wing, and there's this scene in The West Wing in the second episode where President Bartlett chooses this younger Army doc or like Air Force doc to treat him because he likes how he makes him feel by the time he's done with the physical. It's like it's not just he's like but there's better, more qualified doctors. He goes, yeah, but when he's done seeing you, he feels better. So
Yeah.
that helps.
And it says, during one of her sessions with a medium, Kim said her father reached out to her. Quote, my dad had a chip on his tooth, and I always said, Dad, get a bonding and fix your tooth. He'd laugh and say, Kimberly, no one sees it. It's fine. And at her reading, Kim had a chipped tooth herself, and the medium told her, your dad is laughing at your tooth. And there's no way that the medium could have known that she had a chipped tooth. That's just one example that she gave.
I mean, maybe. I mean, you're saying there's no, in a family as well documented as them, there isn't somewhere in the annals of research that this lady couldn't have gotten that information. Because that's where most people who do that for a living do. They're just very good.
It'd be pretty easy
They're very
to-
good at cold reading people, and they're very good at doing their research to make sure that they have material to pull from. And they rely on you making connections where there aren't any because you want to believe in a lot of ways.
But the people that I would guess are the real so-called psychics or psychic mediums. They report just being out in public and getting premonitions or information about people on first glance, and they usually go up to them and ask them, like, do you want to know this? And of course they don't know the risks, so they're like, of course I want to know. And they have true specific information about these people that they could not have known before. They couldn't have just read them. You know, I do think that they have, like, some of these people are not charlatans and they do have access to certain information.
Maybe they're the ones who went through, what was the CIA project? Starlight. What was somebody in the chat? Mike Terrence says CIA clairvoyance. There was like a CIA operation back in the day that was trying to find psychics and people be good.
Yeah. Also on the question of what would Robert Kardashian think about the Kardashians reality show, all of the siblings said that he would have been proud of them for it, which is kind of ridiculous, except Kourtney, who said there are parts that can be hard, like my fight with my sister. It drags things on in an unrealistic way because of the nature of our show. My dad was very much into the closeness of our family, so I think those moments would have made him cringe. And I agree.
Yeah. Wait, is this fatherless behavior?
It's fatherless behavior.
It was Operation Stargate. That was the CIA operation that was.
So what is that?
Basically trying to recruit CIA psychics, and I think they were also trying to find people that could like kill people with their mind and stuff like that. CIA's been on one for like 50 years.
Should make a movie about that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, yeah, I mean, fatherless behavior, a lot of fatherless behavior, but she's turned it into a very, very large empire and lots of money.
Yeah, I think that there are more celebrities seeing psychics and doing witchcraft rituals and who are involved in the occult than anyone realizes. And there are trade-offs that you make. Like the idea of someone signing their soul away to the devil is true. Like that has happened and does happen.
Where do you go to do that? Where do I go to sign up?
The Crossroads.
Crossroads?
Yeah.
Wait, where
Go
is
to Doja Cat's birthday party.
Is it Mississippi?
Is there a map I can get to like looking to sign contract with devil? Is that will that show up in Google Maps?
There's like a famous blues song about that.
Well, yeah, but
right?
we should be able to.
People say Doja Cat did it at her 27th birthday party with all the Illuminati symbols and
oh, she's been really dark recently.
the eyes
Her
wide
stuff has
shut
been
symbolism.
strange.
Yeah.
That Sam Hyde shirt.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that? She like posted a picture of her wearing a shirt with Sam Hyde on it.
No, I
and got
didn't
a bunch
see
of
it.
hate.
Did not.
It's interesting because when I think of like her type of business, we were talking off air, like because of her wealth, anytime she gives good advice now, she's just laughed at. She's like, you got to work hard to get somewhere in life. And people are like, shut up, Kim.
She
You're
could
an
say
idiot.
the sky is blue and people would be
They're
like,
"That's 'cause
you're an
you're
out
rich."
of touch, rich, elitist
Yeah.
prick. Like, yeah, she'll get that backlash no matter what.
It is weird how they celebrate someone like her making tons of money, which I'm sure is not all made ethically, but then they get mad at someone like Bezos making money.
Yeah, she has sweatshops.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a second that she doesn't.
Yeah, like I was driving through Virginia the other day, and I went through this fairly remote area, and I saw like 2 separate Amazon trucks delivering to these places. And I just think about that when you get out to these areas that aren't near major cities, aren't near large, access to huge infrastructure, you really start to understand just the size of what somebody Jeff Bezos created, right? To be able to have access to anything that quickly, it really is this unbelievable accomplishment, but he's somehow like it's derided because he's as rich as he is. But that's supposed to be kind of at the heart of capitalism, right? Is like the idea that you can create something of value that everyone can benefit from and you should be rewarded for it. Now, she's no different. Kim Kardashian should be rewarded she's what you said, Skims will be the official brand wear for the NBA this coming year. Right, so she's created something
Worth like $4 billion now.
Like, I guess the choice is like, do you celebrate somebody for their strong business sense and what they've created, or do you flick them on the nose and laugh at them for their stupid comments that come out every once in a while? I think you judge someone like her by what she's created more than the stupid stuff she says. Mm-hmm. At least I would, personally.
She also talked about how she's studying for the bar.
Yes, she's still going to be a lawyer.
In honor of her father.
I thought she was already a lawyer for some reason. Maybe it's because she did all that stuff with the Trump administration.
She's still getting taught and like.
Well, she passed the one test, right? She passed like the baby bar, right?
Oh.
So like this is the funniest outcome. OJ does something and she has to defend OJ in court.
Yeah.
OJ ends
that would
up,
be a full circle moment.
That should be a different movie, or
that's the sequel.
Okay.
Why hasn't that been made into a real like high budget movie, not just a docuseries?
Well, it was there was The People vs. O.J. Simpson, which did very good numbers back in like 2017 or something like that, which sparked that whole wave of like Law and Order, true crime, and like a bunch of these. The one about the Menendez brothers got made. Like a bunch of true crime series were relaunched because the People vs. O.J. Simpson did as well as it did. Who do you get to play O.J.?
Oh, who wants to?
Who gets to play OJ?
They'll just race swap him to be a white guy.
Dude, they could do that. That's I'd
if
be
you can
okay
race
with that.
swap Cleopatra,
Yep.
why not? Go for it.
So, Yeah, I laugh because it seems like they've like Jeff Bezos doesn't benefit from saying stupid stuff, but I guess Kim Kardashian has built a business model that allows her to benefit from the occasional stupid comment.
She's very smart though.
But she's a very intelligent businesswoman. And that's like at the heart for a lot of these really, really, it's like Paris Hilton. She got even richer by pretending to be dumber than she is.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely really smart.
Yes.
Like,
the story of her parents' divorce is so, like, it's literally what the red pill talks about, because Kris Jenner met Robert Kardashian when she was 18, when she was a flight attendant. They got married when she was 22, and he was 11 years older than her. And then they had kids, and they are living in this lavish lifestyle because of him. And she just decides that she feels trapped in this domesticated life, and she wants to get separated so she can feel more independent. And he says, like, I don't want to get separated. And then she has an affair. And he's like, okay, fine. We'll get divorced then.
Awful.
Like, it's just selfishness at that point. You know? And they, like, said it in a way that's sympathetic to her motivations.
Of course.
But it sounds just as selfish as it is.
Somebody pointed out, they said OJ is still getting women even though he's a killer. I literally read an article the other day. It was like OJ Simpson. It's like he's like, I definitely look for girls with granddaddy issues. And I was just like, hell on earth.
Ugh. I don't ever want to hear that phrase again.
Yes. All right, let's go to Super Chats. We got a couple there.
Andrew Jacobs said, hi, Brett. Did you ever order your rollerblades from Team Paradise in Huntington Beach, California? Hi, Mary, you look nice. Hi, thanks.
I still to this day have several Team Paradise catalogs in boxes at home back in Minnesota. I don't know if I ever ordered from there. I ordered mostly from Roller Warehouse back then, and Roller Warehouse is still around in Skate Pile and some other shops. Skate Pile was from Georgia, but I still definitely have those early Team Paradise catalogs with like the large Solomon display and everything like that. I miss those. Like when you could get you'd get like every 6 months they'd have like a product catalog with all the new products, because the internet wasn't a thing at this time, so you had to get a catalog in the mail that said what they had for sale, and then you could like order from over the phone, or you could send it in.
Ordering over the phone.
Yep.
Oh,
that's another
scary.
reason why Gen Z will never take over, because they won't, like as we say, they won't even order pizzas over the phone. So it's very hard to imagine overthrowing the government if you won't even order like a large pepperoni pizza without an app.
They're not very good at emails either, I hear. No, barely literate. DC and C said, hey, Red Shirt, loved your production of the Barber of Seville. What?
Barber of Seville?
Barber of Seville? I don't know what that is.
Let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett giving away the fake money, like, here, remember to tip your Uber driver. LOL. Hi, Mary. Greetings, Isabelle, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's hold off on the rest, and
Okay.
we'll come back after that. Yes, I'm very generous with the fake money, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mary, tell us what's going on with Will Smith.
So a former assistant and quote-unquote best friend of Will Smith has recently gone on a podcast to tell the world this story that he's been holding on to for decades, that he walked in on Will Smith hooking up with fellow actor Dwayne Martin. And he's outed Will Smith as gay. Will Smith has responded through a spokesperson and completely denied the gay allegations. Jada Smith says they're suing him, and Dwayne Martin also denies the allegations. This is on the same podcast as the YouTuber that got sued by Cardi B. I guess what did she even say about Cardi B?
It was, I think she called her an escort and she wasn't, or something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember entirely, but it was along those lines, and she got sued, and it was like a $4 million lawsuit, and yeah.
So let's take a look at this clip and judge this guy for ourselves.
Actually, before we do that, we got a $20 super chat here from DCNC. Says, in West Philadelphia, born and raised. I'm not reading the rest of the super chat. Sorry, my friend. I'm not getting clipped on that one. But thank you, DCNC. Let's watch this clip then. Here we go.
And Jada was the woman that everybody wanted. And Will needed that validation to have that type of woman.
You saw her say that Will Smith had a small dick?
Oh, I am saying to you, if a woman is used to something the size of a baby leg and you come in with a pinky toe, there's nothing you can do to please her. You can buy her 80 cars, you can get her 80 private jets. If she's itching for that baby leg, she want that baby leg. You can beat a person so much that they fall into submission. So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder, like murder. There was murder in there.
The music makes it even more dramatic.
Her reaction was mine as well.
Yeah.
Need a moment.
So this guy claims to be Will Smith's best friend of 40 years and a former assistant. So he was up close and personal, a little bit too much. This might be TMI.
Not as personal as the other guy.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So I had never heard of this actor before.
Yeah. I mean, he's bigger in the 90s.
But they're also known to be lifelong friends.
Yep.
So here's what Will Smith's rep had to say. It's unequivocally false.
I mean, what else are they going to say?
I don't know. Are they going to admit it?
Are they going to pull like
he might get more praise for coming out in 2023.
I mean,
and then Jada has to be supportive.
Yeah, plus with them being separated, it would be more socially acceptable.
Here's why I was such a bad husband.
Yeah.
We finally know it's because he's attracted to dudes.
I still believe she was probably the bigger problem in that relationship than he ever was, more than anything.
Was Jada the beard of Will Smith? The world may never know.
The world may never know. What are they supposed to say in the situation, right? Like, first of all, if you're in his position, you never want to be put on the defensive as far as a media release of information. You want to be able to control the narrative. And so right now they're playing defense.
Play
with all of this stuff.
the clip of Jada talking to TMZ. Yeah. She had two simple words for the man claiming Will Smith had sex with Dwayne Martin.
All right, good to see you. We gotta go. We're blocking traffic.
Oh, we got it. Oh, we're blocking traffic.
I'm sorry.
What do you say about the allegations? There's like, like so many rumors. Anything you want to say?
We suing.
I know that's right. Thank you, Miss Pinkett.
That's actually awesome.
We suing.
So are they? Are they going to follow through with that?
I mean, we won't know for a while until later. I mean, it would be very good for optics to sue them, I guess. But like, what would you like in this situation? You work in public relations.
Oh gosh,
of
yeah, I've never had a scenario like this come up before.
Oh, did you do you do like crisis management?
We do. We offer it, and we are capable of it.
And so Will Smith comes to you, and he's like, "Look, like I'm not going to tell you whether it's true or not." But this guy's making a claim. What do we do?
If my client, Will Smith, even if he was gay and he didn't want anyone to know, and he or even if he wanted to come out on his own terms, I still think suing is the right thing to do, because it's you can't just have, when you're that famous and people are just out there saying stuff about you, regardless of whether it's true or not, and you don't want them to be saying it, or you want to keep your reputation close to you, or your secrets super close to you, I think you should just go full-fledged yeah, we're suing.
Well, what about Obama? Did you watch the Tucker interview?
I didn't watch it.
We got a $20 super chat here from Party 1776. Says, I just got in. What did I just see?
You're never gonna unsee it.
You're never gonna unsee that.
Eye.
Yeah, the Obama one. I forgot about that.
What did you think of Tucker's interview with Larry Sinclair?
I thought.
Do you think he's credible?
I don't think so. A man who had been charged with perjury, I think more than once.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a rap sheet.
I still believe that the detail about the CD case is too unique to the time period.
They snorted lines off of a CD
It's
case.
something you did back in that time period. It just seems so
something he did
accurate.
maybe with other men than Obama himself.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether or not Obama is gay, the logic of that he said that no one would let him come out with a story at the time of the campaign or during the election or whatever just seems crazy to me, because there's definitely a right wing outlet that would have taken that and did something with
They
it.
like made a big deal about the color of his suit. You're telling me they wouldn't have tried to use that against him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a little tabloidy, but
yeah.
I mean,
people.
So is this. Yeah, I don't know.
He seems like a hangers-on, a groupie.
Yeah. A little bit.
The guy who came
trying to
out
grab some fame.
That's what it kind of feels like to me a little bit too. I don't know.
But Will Smith is kind of fruity, so we've seen the green line test.
Oh yeah,
on Will and Jada, and it's not looking good.
Yeah, he failed the green line tests more than a few times. You know about the green line test?
Yeah.
Do you think that the green line test is a good? Well, first of all, tell us what the green line test is, in case anyone doesn't know. Well, and do you think that it's a good
okay, so
test?
I said yes. I think I know what it means. It's basically like the way that you lean into someone is
so like when you're taking a photo.
The man in a relationship should be standing up straight and the woman should be leaning diagonally towards him. If it's like Will Smith, he's leaning all the way toward Jada and she's like leaning away.
Yeah.
Can say a lot about the dynamics there.
I do think body language plays into relationships a lot, for sure. But the thing that always gets me is like after like someone like Trump like gives a speech or something, or like someone that like is totally like reviled by like the mainstream or whatever. They always say like body language expert said that he was off his game. It's like, all right, calm down.
I love that, and I love the people who are, they say like the ones who interpret like your speech.
Yeah.
What makes someone a body language expert?
I don't know, but maybe there's a TikTok rabbit hole about that too. I'm sure there is, right alongside the tongue reading.
Speaking of, there's some green lines.
That looks bad. Yeah.
I just feel like he's probably so damaged as a person.
Yeah. Like for him, it becomes just more sad for me by the day. And also, I've explained to Mary more on countless times, like for my age demographic, Will Smith was the height of cool.
Yeah.
When I was young, Will Smith was the height of cool.
This man really has like fallen from grace in like a very like you said, very sad way. Like you just kind of pity him now.
Yeah. Like it's just not what it once was. And not in like a spectacular way.
No.
Not in like blaze of glory, he did one thing wrong. Like he was in trouble socially, like he was already in trouble as far as how the public perceived him long before he ever slapped Chris Rock. He was already kind of seen as this person who was being constantly just humiliated by his own wife in a lot of ways. Another thing that I didn't like about when they were talking about this, they're talking about like she's talking about like you don't have a right to a person's private life. You made your private life public. Everyone has a right to talk about and have an opinion on what you make public to everyone.
Like after Jada aired out all of their dirty laundry on Red Table Talk and then in her memoir, which no one cared about, is that not the public's right to discuss and speculate?
If you get to make money off the book, we get to have a discussion about what it all means.
And this former assistant guy, I suppose, also has the right to tell his side of the story.
That was coming up yesterday because we were talking about Marlon Wayans. We were talking about Marlon Wayans, and he was talking about people. It's like, it's your private life, man, and like you people get to see some of what you put out into the public, but not all of it. I'm like, no, like whatever you put out there, people have a right to talk about. You don't get to choose that. Once you choose to live in the public eye, once you choose the money and all that comes with being a public figure, you then have to also accept that there's going to be people that are going to talk about it, and not always in a tone that you're going to like. That's just the way of the world.
Your theory is you're going to see an overrepresentation of gay culture in Hollywood anyway, so it's not all that surprising if someone has done that in private.
No.
What's more surprising is that they didn't cash in on the diversity points when it became trendy to
No,
come
because he's got a family, so it's different. It wouldn't have been as clean of a narrative. Because
I mean, look at the way that they embraced Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, they literally made him Woman of the Year.
That is true, but
you will get celebrated no matter what the consequences are for the people around you.
Yeah. It's the kids would have just become the second victims of that, having to deal with that.
They're not allowed to say anything negative about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people, the argument would have been that he was an action movie star, and back in the day it wouldn't have been bankable to have a gay action movie star, but we don't live in those days. We don't live in that time period anymore. And the general audiences the average moviegoer isn't going to care whether you're gay or straight when you portray an action role. I don't buy that people care about that anymore. Nor do I buy that the average person cares, outside of people who follow these industries closely, whether an actor is gay or not. Mm-hmm. It's just so mainstream now. It's so normal. I just don't think that
Will has been so buck broken already that
I know he's
all of them
what
are
more can you do to him?
Like,
he has nothing left to lose.
They're like, does he treat you better than Jada? Yes. Go with God, my friends. Have at it. Just fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And they're on the defense right now because this is going to be I have a feeling this story will get bigger. I don't know why I feel like this feels like a bigger story than some of the other ones that have come up recently because it's such a brazen claim to make. Mm-hmm. Like the Obama one disappeared. Like after like a couple of days.
Well, that's a chance encounter, right? Yeah. But this person knew Will Smith for decades.
Also politics, you almost you accept that there's going to be like mudslinging both ways. Mm-hmm. Right? So people expect that to come. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. If Tasha K has been sued by Cardi B and is still going strong.
Yep.
What more can you do to her? She's uncancelable.
Did you like watch a lot of Will Smith movies? You're younger than me, so.
I don't remember him being like this like big figure, but he was definitely a household name. Like he wasn't the biggest, but like everyone knew who he was.
Is there a Will Smith movie you like?
They're like suddenly no Will Smith movies
in
Independence Day.
Independence Day rules.
Oh, I Am Legend.
There you go.
That's a good
one. There you go.
It's
Strong
really
choice right
scary,
there. Very strong choice right there.
It's a good one.
All right, so we'll see how it plays out. All of them have denied this, so only time will tell on this one. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Don't watch the Hallmark movies, Mary. First, it's Hallmark movies. Next thing you know, you're living on the streets, jonesing for a pumpkin spice latte."
What?
Yeah, it's a short road
pipeline
to pumpkin spice latte addiction if you start watching those Hallmark movies.
Why would she be on the street though?
You'll turn into what they call basic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Crisis party. I asked for a crisis party. They gave us a crisis party.
I'm not a fan of pumpkin spice. Are you?
Yeah, I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ian. There was a meme that was going around the other day. It was like a headline from a newspaper article. It says like scientists create the whitest paint ever made. And it shows, and then they hold it up, and it says pumpkin spice latte paint.
Whoa.
Yep. So it says pumpkin spice latte paint. That's.
I think pumpkin spice lattes have diversified.
Think so?
Beyond white women. Yeah. They reached the whole mass appeal.
I think they have too, and I think people just really love fall.
I do, but here's the thing. Like I was like long before fall even started here. We're talking like late August, maybe. When does fall officially start?
September 22nd.
Okay, so this was at the
Love
very
that
least,
you knew that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Well, my birthday's on the 21st. My birthday, no, I'm kidding. The 21st is the last day of the summer, and I know that's because my birthday. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was long before that. This was either late August or early September, and there was pumpkin spice Milano cookies at the grocery store, and I said, I don't want to hear one bit how white women aren't the absolute beneficiaries of capitalism, because this product should be thrown into the molten river.
No, most things are made for us.
I'm not doing it.
Most things are made for us.
Because women, what's the idea was always that women control the wallet at home. They even when they weren't working, they were the ones who ran the finances of the house.
Do the food shopping, do the cooking. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Do two more.
Quite Blackpilled said, "R.I.P. Charles Entertainment Cheese."
Yep, it's very sad.
You will be missed.
You will be missed.
I have no idea what this one means, but Bucky Ducky said, "If it's means it is, why don't we say it's what it's?"
That was deep, bro.
I don't know, man.
That was deep. All right, let's hold off and we'll come back afterwards. All right,
Yeah.
Mary, tell us what's going on with Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway recently did an interview where she talked about how women are treated in Hollywood after they reach the age of 35. She says that she was warned her career would fall off a cliff after the age of 35, and this is something that apparently a lot of women face in the entertainment industry. But thankfully, she says that has totally shifted thanks to people like Michelle Yeoh, who has also complained about this issue to no end.
Yeah.
I find her very annoying, Michelle Yeoh.
A lot of virtue signaling and a lot of like victimhood
Yes.
complex for
Yes.
somebody like that. For somebody as successful as she is, she's always writing these, or she's always in these interviews talking about how hard it is to be her.
Well, she's very proud of peaking after the age of 35.
Look, she was,
which good for you and everything.
She
but-
did. She was in the 1997 James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan, Die Another Day, which is about an evil media baron.
Well,
by the way.
that is not what she's known for.
But she
primarily.
in that movie, like her character is like not really a sex symbol, but still, but because she plays like a Chinese spy in that movie. Her character's name is Wei Lin.
Well, she wasn't the Bond girl, right?
She was the Bond. I mean, she was her and Terry Hatcher were the Bond girls in that film.
She says, when I started out as a child, I was warned that my career would fall off a cliff at the age of 35, which is something I know a lot of women face. The thing that has evolved during that time is more women are having careers deeper into their lives, which I think is fantastic. Obviously, it doesn't mean we should have a ticker tape parade. Someone said this to me the other day. There's so much to be proud of, and there's so much to fix. There is always so much more work to be done. No matter how much progress that we achieve, there is always more work to be done with these people.
Never enough.
Yeah.
And it is true.
It is bizarre to say that to a child, though.
Yeah. It is true that Hollywood has done a much better job of making sure that roles are there for like all age demographics now in a lot of ways, but then they complain about it, right? There was the one article that we talked about a long time ago where some actress was saying like, maybe I don't want to play the mom or the grandma. I'm like, bro, what do you want then? Like, we can only make movies about so many topics. Like, what do you want? You're not going to be a geriatric spy. You're not geriatric makeup designer.
Old white dudes don't complain about always getting cast as the villain.
Yeah, or as a CEO. Like that's what you get when you're an old white guy. You're an evil CEO. You're the head of some FBI agency or the CIA, or you're a lawyer.
Yeah,
that's what you play as a guy.
Yeah. She's also made comments about how she doesn't want to be told that she looks good for her age during a recent appearance on
Thank you,
Today.
Woden Shot. Tomorrow Never Dies, not Die Another Day, as soon as I said that. Sorry about that.
So Anne Hathaway is 41 years old, and she's told a lot that she looks great for her age, which she does. She looks amazing for being a woman in her 40s. That's true. Probably genetics are involved with that, but also the extensive procedures and self-care that people in the public eye go through to maintain their beauty and their youth. But she isn't flattered when people tell her she looks good for her age.
Oof.
Why? I think there are plenty of women her age that are, in their 40s who would love to be told that they look good for their age. They would take that as a compliment. Why can't she? Right? You must be insecure about your age if you don't want it to be mentioned.
I kind of feel like guys get told that too. Maybe not as much. Like, don't you think that guys get told they look good like for their age too?
Guys who are older?
Yeah, like I definitely feel like it's not like.
Well, guys
only
grow into their
unique.
faces. Guys grow into their looks. Women grow away from them in Hollywood in general.
But what about the twink death discourse?
I don't know what that is.
What's that?
There's been this discourse evolving about twink death. Some examples include Leonardo DiCaprio. He's always in there.
But he grew into being
Johnny Depp is also mentioned. These young A-lister actors who were at the prime of their careers and their looks in their younger years, and then they kind of fell off with. I mean, their looks deteriorated over time, which happens to everyone. It just depends on when.
I recommend looking up young Chris Pratt.
They call it twink death.
Look up young Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt absolutely grew into his face. Paul Rudd just never aged.
It depends on the person. Yeah.
But those guys were heartthrobs, right? So they were known for those looks. But for women, there are plenty of women who look fantastic for their age. The example I always give you is Jennifer Beals, who's 59 and looks like she's 40. I have a photo here, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen. That woman is about to be 60 this year. And if you look at her interviews where she's not in, or like her Instagram videos,
honestly,
and stuff,
she doesn't even look like she's 40. She looks like she's in her 30s.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
and if you look at the thing is like these are on set, so there's makeup and everything. But if you look at her stuff like on her Instagram, she looks the same when she's not in full makeup. So it's going to be different. And she's been all the stuff that I love from her came later. Like were later roles, right? So that's not stuff when she was in her early 20s.
She
or
can
30s,
get
except for
discount
Flashdance.
meals at IHOP,
Yep.
and she looks like she's in her 30s. Is that not something to celebrate?
Some people are just winning, bro.
Yeah, like I don't get not taking it as a compliment.
I like the twink death discourse. I need to look into that because I think Leo has just like kind of like turned into this. I know he's like a huge movie star, but I find him to be like kind of a sad sack. I know he dates all these really hot young models. So I'm just like,
what if he looked the way he looks now, but he had been happily married for like 15 years?
That would change things. I mean, I find him to be a sad figure.
Kind of empty.
Yeah, I found him shallow. I
mean, when you see pictures of him at parties, you can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, there's like a hollowness or something. I don't know. I thought Megyn Kelly had a really good take on him in general and just like his, his escapades or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. She was like, he'll never know like the deep like joys, the deep highs, the deep lows, but mostly obviously focusing on the highs of like a relationship and a marriage with someone and like building a family. And I thought that was just like a good like white pilling take on it because everyone's just like, ow, he's so gross and stuff, but it's like, well, he is missing out on like a very beautiful part of life by just like constantly chasing.
And it was George Clooney before him who eventually settled down and got married and has I don't know if he's got kids, but he's been married for.
But then once you do, everyone has criticisms like,
yeah.
You married the wrong person, whatever.
But for these actresses, there are still plenty of roles, and that's mostly because of TV now. Yes, the movies might be a little bit different, but television, there's just so much stuff getting made all the time now that there are roles. Look, I just watched a really bad, albeit bad, Netflix movie called Reptile, which had Alicia Silverstone in it, and she was like one of the better parts of a bad movie, her and Benicio del Toro, and she's not 30 anymore. She's I believe she's in her 40s now or early 40s. Like there are still going to be roles for people out there now. It's just you have to shift your perspective. And I do think that it is one of those things where like it does seem unfair because the men will grow into the ability to play more characters as they get older, and women's roles then seem to maybe shrink down a little bit more than what the guys end up going through. But the guys are okay with it because the roles they get, however predictable, usually end up being important parts of these storylines. So not everyone can be Katie Seagal in Sons of Anarchy, where she's a matriarch of a family or the mother of the main character who became the best part of the show. Right? There are only going to be...
And not everyone can star in everything everywhere all at once.
Exactly. So, I mean, it does always end up just feeling like a lot of these interviews set these actors up for these sound bites that make them look worse than they actually are.
I mean, one soundbite that was given to us by Anne Hathaway is that abortion is an act of mercy.
Forgot about that.
That was all on her own.
Yeah.
She did that all on her own. So,
yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it. So she's 41 now, right? So so she would have been roughly 30 or 31 when The Dark Knight Rises came out. So she would have already been looking at that the upper half of that window that she's saying was put on herself, right? So that is something scary. I mean, but does it kind of mirror motherhood in a way for actresses? They've got this window of time where they can do their most work or get their best roles or something like that. Just like women, in a lot of ways, there's that clock put on you if you're going to choose to have kids in a family. And the unfortunate fact is for women, they run parallel to each other. So all those best years in which you're, where it's safest for you to have children and because I think high risk pregnancy, it starts in your early 30s, right? Yeah. So all those best years for you to have kids are also your best years to get the best roles as an actress because your beauty in your youth is what's valued. So I actually, in a lot of ways, like I feel for the women who, like a lot of women will go on these TV shows and they'll get starring roles, and then they have to start putting books in front of them because they get pregnant for halfway through the second or third season, right? That means they're choosing having kids in the family over potentially losing roles in these movies.
I bet that a lot of women in Hollywood get discriminated against for having kids.
Oh, yeah.
Or for stating any plans to do so.
No, they do.
Megan Fox said that that's one of the reasons why her career fell off.
They absolutely do.
It's very stark when you see that she got blacklisted in Hollywood. It's not quite that. It's that she started a family.
Yeah. I just...
she even said, like, pregnancy is treated like leprosy in this industry. It is.
Because the sad fact is that you're taking something that's very, very personal and you're making it an important part of a business that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And the studios don't have the luxury of treating it as a human issue.
Ugh, you know something so sick is all of the major big tech firms are now offering in their benefits package the ability to freeze your eggs for their female employees.
Yep.
So
that's
sad.
Absolutely dystopian.
It is.
Like that was a big black pill when I saw that.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like, hey, freeze your eggs and then go abort your babies. We'll pay for both, they say.
Yeah, they fund the abortions.
For childcare?
They're like, we don't want to pay for your child care. We want to pay.
God forbid we have to give you any parental leave.
Maternal leave?
No.
Or maternity leave, yeah.
Mighty Rax in the chat says Scully worked in her pregnancy very well. That's because, my friend, in the X-Files, they made sure that she was wearing the frumpiest of frumpy coats. We're talking like they're
some very flowy turtlenecks.
They are just the worst. Like, it's the best part of it though, because it fit with the tone of the show, right? Because they have to wear their long floor length overcoats because they're FBI agents. And she just looks because she was like 21 or something when she got that role, and I think she went through 2 pregnancies in her time on that show.
I wonder if anyone's clocked Halle Bailey for being pregnant yet.
Yeah.
Has she admitted that she's pregnant?
Or Amanda Rigetti, who was on the show The Mentalist. It was really funny because like she's suddenly like behind a desk in every scene, but her face is just like 3 times normal size because she's normally this very tall, slender, beautiful redheaded woman, and then just one day she's just her face is just huge, and she's suddenly in front of like there's like a globe on the desk in front of her, anything to block her stomach from the shot. She's holding like 9 folders at once in a trapper keeper. You know, let's but that's good on the company for not like firing her or writing her out. They allowed her to do that.
Yeah.
So they another thing they always make a big deal about, and you'll see it like when I'm contributing to IMDb trivia, which I do on the regular, as everyone knows here. They'll always make a big deal out of like so and so came back this many days, this many weeks, this many months after giving birth. So they make it like an accomplishment to come back to work fast.
Right. And immediately throw your kid in daycare.
But also think about like all the magazines back in the day that would be like, it would be some celebrity would get pregnant and then they'd be on a cover of a magazine super skinny right away. And that would be something that they would celebrate, not realizing that's...
And the truth is that they always get a C-section and a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
Right then and there. And then they say, oh, I don't know, like I just took lots of walks.
that is one of the sickest
like,
things.
Why lie?
but that is a really sick thing about Hollywood, because it's like the women's beauty, their youth, their body is like very much like, you know, it's like it's a focus of Hollywood. They've always been obsessed with youth and beauty, but then like when it comes to the reality of the woman's body, it's like they want to like hide it, shove it, and it's like, yeah, it's really gross. And
Louise Perry is the author of The Case Against the Sexual Revolution, and she introduced me to this concept that there are 3 phases of a woman's life that used to be integrated, that the sexual revolution deintegrated, and it's the maiden, mother, and matriarch. And now every woman wants to just be a maiden for her entire life. She never wants to evolve into a mother or a matriarch when it's age appropriate. But Madonna is out here still, you know, sexualizing herself, still trying to hold on by a thread to the way that she used to be able to sell her sexuality, her sex appeal. She wants to be the maiden, even though she's like in her 60s.
Yeah.
there's no ability to like integrate anymore.
The romanticization now is to be the wine-aunt rather than the mom.
Yeah.
The one who gets to all the benefits of having kinfolk, right? They get to have the nieces and nephews, and they get to experience the family, but only on their
Madonna
terms.
adopted or kidnapped,
but I'm saying, but only on their terms, and only in a way that they want, because they don't want to actually commit to having a family.
Yeah. So, I mean, Anne Hathaway's comments are relatively harmless. I did notice that they took down her interview, though.
That's interesting. I wonder why that is.
It's nowhere to be found when you click on
She's
any
like,
of the
look,
links.
I didn't say 35.
So
She doesn't want to lose out on roles.
yeah, they must have seen the pushback coming, and they just deleted the whole thing. But the internet is forever.
All right, let's go to Super Chats. I got a couple there.
Pat the Plumber said Disney has pushed so much, what is this, oak BS, that they will get that criticism now in most situations.
Yeah, like, so that's the problem when you go down that road, right? Then they're going to automatically label. Yeah, I think he means woke.
Woke without
they're
the
going to
W.
label everything you make as that automatically without even I never even went to see Dungeons and Dragons. I know this wasn't at Disney, but like I didn't even go see Dungeons and Dragons because the marketing for it was so horrible. And a lot of people loved that movie. Said it was really, really good. It was actually a lot of fun. I never saw it. Like, marketing and a bad prior rep can ruin it for years. It takes a long time to rebuild faith and trust with viewers.
The marketing was woke. Who was it that said like he wanted to be the
Chris Pratt or Chris Pine?
What did he say? He like wanted to let the women be the badass characters that save the day.
Not like, think about what Robert Downey Jr. when they were marketing Oppenheimer, and he's like, "This, I realized that women should run the world," and I'm like, "Bro, just stop talking, please, just stop talking. Like, literally say anything else."
Yeah. Christopher Nolan is like,
dude, bro, yeah,
I'm going to chloroform you. Shane H. Wilder said, "What is a man?" GQ obviously doesn't know.
They don't know. Let's do one more.
Pat the Plumber said, "I was in 7th grade. We watched OJ get acquitted in school. LOL. Wow."
Where I was when...
Where were you when OJ got acquitted?
What year was that? 97? Or 96?
96,
96? I would have been 10 years old. So I don't know what the hell.
You didn't remember?
I don't remember where I was when that happened. Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after.
It's kind of crazy to show it in schools though, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
It was a moment in the culture. I mean, they showed 9/11 in schools.
Yeah.
They absolutely. I was in 9th grade when 9/11 happened, and I still remember.
I assume you don't remember.
I don't remember 9/11.
Yeah.
No.
I feel so old sometimes. But I was in homeroom. I was in 9th grade homeroom when it happened, and they had. So everyone talks about them wheeling in the TVs. They didn't wheel in the TVs. We had they had these TVs on the wall, and they turned it on, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. We saw when Pope Francis got elected. Because I went to a Catholic high school, so we watched that on TV. Well, the white smoke and everything.
That did not happen at my school.
No.
All right, Mary, what's going on?
Danielle Cohn is a child influencer who started out on Musical.ly, and for a long time, her age has been a point of contention and debate because she's been accused of lying about her age since the very moment that she got famous. She's been lying about being 2 years older than she is, which is relatively not that much, but when you start out as a social media influencer as a 10-year-old, it makes a big difference in what content is age appropriate. And the worst part is that her mom has been in on it with her, allegedly, the whole time. And her dad was the one that exposed this lie. And still, she is lying about her age to this day, allegedly. So today, people think that she is either 17 or 18 years old, and she purports to be, or I'm sorry, people think that she is either 16 or 17. She purports to be either 18 or 19.
Okay.
And
there's an easy way to fix this. You just take her to a store and be like, "Can you go buy a tobacco product for me?"
No, but I mean, it's to the point where you think she might have falsified documents of her age, because she even made a video about her getting her first car when she gets her license when she is legally not old enough to get her license. Like, it goes pretty deep.
They're like, "Post videos of you driving or we don't believe you."
So I wrote about this girl a couple of years ago, comparing her to Jojo Siwa, who has this really kid-friendly public image. Danielle Cohn's content has always been extremely over-sexualized, even for the age that she purports to be. Back when she told people she was 14, but in actuality was 12, she posted a video called Protective Boyfriend Reacts to Halloween Costumes, and the thumbnail says, boyfriend reacts to sexy adult costumes. And at that time, she's telling people that she's 14.
Oh boy.
The reality, according to her dad, is that she was 12 in that video. Like, that's disgusting no matter how you put it. But it's even worse when you realize that her mother is in on this lie and using her for the income that comes from her being an influencer.
And the dad has since complained about this, but he didn't financially benefit in any way from this, right? So he's not being hypocritical.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So in 2019, he made a Facebook post about this that I'll read here. He said, Danielle is 13. So this is in 2019. She's 16 now, right?
Yeah.
Math. Danielle is 13. I've never liked Danielle being on social media, especially when she started at such an early age. But pageants and modeling and then Musical.ly were all pushed on her. It was always a huge problem for me. I asked for it to stop immediately, which it didn't. We found Pinterest boards with her photos, and I told her mom I worried about PDF files. We tried to take measures to stop it, but it didn't stop. The pictures now have gotten worse and worse. I'm finally saying something on social media because people need to be held accountable. When Danielle was first on social media on Musical.ly, I was disgusted that kids would post videos and their parents thought it was okay. I asked for it to stop, but it didn't, and now it has spiraled into me being worried about my daughter's safety. I've gone through multiple outlets, and no one cares because I'm the father, and it proves fathers have no rights. I'm not heard at all and pushed to the side. I want these companies to be held accountable because they never did their due diligence in checking my daughter's age and have used a minor for profit because the money is more important than the truth. The exploitation of children on these sites needs to stop. If that means I have to be that person, I will come out and show the disgusting truth.
I mean, they'll never be able to hold these sites accountable. That's never going to happen. That's why people have to double down on doing their best at home to try and help police your kids' behaviors.
It's not even these social media sites that need to be held accountable. It's her mother.
Her mom, yep.
Right? Like, her mom has been the one supposedly pushing all of this stuff on her. And the reason I wrote about her in 2021 was because she put out a video called The Truth About My Abortion Story. And let me just read from that. So in July 2021, Danielle posted that video telling the story of her abortion. And it happened in February 2020 when she was supposedly 15, but allegedly she was 13.
And remember, in all this time period, she's not living with her dad.
She hasn't been living with her dad, I think, since she was 10. She explained that the father of her child, rumored to be one of her ex-boyfriends, who is currently, or at least at the time in 2021, was 18, provided her with absolutely no support, so she chose to abort her baby. And it shows a darker side to this issue, which is that young girls on social media are taught to present themselves as caricatures of adult women. And if you look at pictures of Danielle Cohn, who tells people that she is still a teenager, she looks like she's in her 30s. Like, with the amount of alterations and Photoshop and makeup and skimpy outfits, you would assume that this is a grown woman, and she's not. And allegedly, she's not even a legal adult yet. Yeah. So the whole thing is very dark. And also, one of her ex-boyfriends, who I believe is the alleged father of that baby, talked about their relationship earlier this year and talked about how they first met. And he said, things are not always as they seem. And if he were in a relationship with a 12 or 13-year-old when he was 17, because he was told that she was 15, that would be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Not to excuse that he would have encouraged her to get an abortion anyway, but the whole situation just never should have happened.
The whole thing just seems very sad.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like the getting wrapped up in social media clout and fame at that early of an age just seems like a recipe for an absolutely disastrous childhood. Especially one where the parents are supposed to be the ones who protect you from the world, and the mom is leaning into it rather than protecting her.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
There are a lot of stage moms like that.
Yeah, and
it's sort of a form of Munchausen's almost.
Yeah, well, they're
or they intermingle as well.
Yeah, their success. It's like the parents who kind of love to, when their kid succeeds, it says something great about the parents, right? So they end up pushing their kids harder than they need to because it's more about them than it is about the parent themselves. Or it's more about them than it is about the kid themselves.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking in a lot of ways. And the dad, unfortunately, learned quickly that if you're the biological father, but you're not married to the mom, you don't really have, he doesn't have any rights.
What power do you hold?
He has no power whatsoever.
Court?
Like, they're never going to give this dude custody. Have you ever seen, there's like this meme that goes around where it's like when like a dad asks for custody and the mom's got like a meth conviction, she's been to prison, the mom still gets custody, right? Because that's just the way the courts work, and it's been that way for a very long time. Obviously that's a hyperbolic example, but not by much. That the courts are much more in favor of custody of the child for women. And this dad is just learning a very heartbreaking truth that he's watching his child be corrupted by a mom that doesn't have the child's best interests at heart, because there's money at stake, there's fame at stake. All of these things lead to just a broken child, and that's just awful.
So what does she do now? Like, what is her claim to fame now? Is she just on TikTok, like making videos and stuff?
She's basically a TikToker, YouTuber. I'm sure she's set up really nicely with brand deals and sponsorships that don't do their research.
Well, it's just wild to me because like my biggest beef, I guess, with like the influencer like profession in general is like at some point it dies out, right? Like it's not that sustainable. Like you might be able to make a ton of money at one point.
You mean the idea of influencers dies out, or just for each person?
Like I feel like for each person, like I feel like there's not a whole lot of people that can make it last forever. Like you can get like a reality TV show or something, but it's like, do you like what is like the next step that you take to like sustain your brand or whatever? So that's what's always concerning to me, because it feels like a lot of these influencers are just doing it because like they're young and hot, and it's like when they're not young and hot anymore, and then they have all this emotional like baggage, and like she had an abortion as a teenager and all this crazy stuff. Like I feel like she's gonna like be like 40 years old and just like, I don't know, unless she like has some kind of like outlet like to like you know, reconcile all this stuff in her brain, like grow through it or whatever, gets some good influence in her life, or like can figure it out on her own or whatever. Like I feel like that kind of like, it just like sets you up for like middle age, just to like I don't know, just have like a mental breakdown or something.
She'll end up having to write a memoir that will be absolutely awful and depressing.
It's just sad.
Sell a lot of money, like sell a lot of books.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the legal ramifications. Like, when are we going to see legislation that protects kid influencers, or kidfluencers as they're called now, from exploitative parents? Because there are legal protections for child actors with parents or studios that might exploit them.
Yeah.
They have their money protected, and they're not, you know, forced to work long hours, things like that. But influencer kids have no rights,
or family
have no
channels,
recourse.
Family YouTube channels.
Yeah, family channels are some of the biggest channels on YouTube still, even though we've found out time and time again that they're pretty much almost always toxic.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to see some kind of class action lawsuit against YouTube or any of these platforms at some point when these influencer children grow up.
Yeah, it'll take time. I mean, the legislation it's always way behind. Society will be onto fresh abuse methods by the time the legislation catches up to this. It'll be on to new ways of using children, and that's the disgusting fact of the matter, is it never ends up actually catching up to the times.
Yeah. Another friend of hers also spoke out this year, and she claims that she met Danielle when she was 9 years old, and she's lying about her age 100%. So with enough people corroborating this, including her father, who I assume has documents that prove he's right, there's like no refuting it. Like, I'm saying allegedly, but it's right there in front of our faces.
Yeah.
And yet she's still able to use this platform and get sponsorship deals.
I mean, the internet's always been the Wild West. That's the sad truth. Is like back in the day, they always make the jokes. It's like a teenager goes on a website. It's like, you cannot enter this site unless you are 18. Hit the button. Are you 18? Every teenager was like, yes, as a matter of fact, I am 18. It's never going to be. I don't know if it's a fixable problem without authoritarian measures that a lot of people just aren't going to be.
Well, there's states now, like Louisiana, I think pioneered the law, and then I don't remember which other ones, but there's like or to go on a porn website, you have to do an age verification now through like, I think like a state ID. Like, I don't think it's as easy as just being like, yes, I was born at this date, which puts me at the age of 18. Like, I think it's like more complicated than that, and more official. And
larger states with larger city populations will have porn lobbies that will work very hard to make sure that isn't put into effect.
Well, on those, like in the states that have that law, I think Utah has it too. Actually, now they have, like, when you go to like Pornhub or something, it's like they have made videos that pop up and say like, this law is, like preventing us from like whatever, and it's just crazy. So they are actively trying to lobby against it.
Yep, absolutely.
TikTok is also still banned in Utah, is it not?
I don't know about TikTok.
Not to sound like Nikki Haley or whatever, but
I hate TikTok.
She is really on the wrong. She's actually shockingly good at being awful.
Somehow I wholly agree with you. TikTok is bad for kids, but when she says it, I'm like, nah.
She's like, yeah, everyone. No, what it is, we found the one issue that her and Jordan Peterson can agree on, which is that everybody needs to have their ID checked online. Remember when Jordan Peterson went on his like big tirade about anonymity online?
Look, I am pro authoritarian measures taken with the aim of protecting children.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, yes, Mary, the dog is 22 years old. Not my dog, but my best friend's dog. Just wanted to show you guys a 22-year-old dog called Old Man.
Oh.
But he wasn't old when he was born. Shade H. Wilder said, devout Christian, seeing a psychic does not compute.
Is that not allowed? So then, is that what you're saying?
No, it's not. I mean, a lot of people just aren't taught these things, but
so you're just not.
Her own father was against it and still did it when he was questioning everything after the OJ trial.
That could have been in the movie. He finally goes and sees a psychic, and he tells him you need to break off from OJ. He's bad for you.
DCNC. I'm not going to read that. I don't want to get clipped.
DCNC referenced the two sizes that the gentleman in the Will Smith video mentioned, and then said, but Billie Eilish says men don't get body shamed. LOL. LOL. There you go.
DCNC said, Rosini, famous Italian composer, kids these days. I'm sorry we didn't get your esoteric reference.
No, there is. I actually got that in an email the other day. They said, are you related to the famous opera writer? And I said, I am not, because I am missing an S.
There's only one S. Could that have been changed when showing up in a?
That's
in America?
that is the theory in my family.
My last name is Dasovic, and there was like several spellings of that before it changed.
It was originally Wokovic, but when it got anglicized.
That's exactly what happened. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Bucky Ducky said, body language is how you speak to animals. I grew up on a farm. I probably understand it more than most. 90% of what people say about it is total BS.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Tell us more. How do you communicate with animals with your body language?
And are you Ace Ventura pet detective? That's what I want to know.
Matt Kelly said, I don't think a lawsuit will happen. Suing someone for slander by accusing you of being gay is social suicide in Hollywood. He should stay quiet.
I guess. I mean, like, somehow it feels like to me that Jada wants him to sue because she knows it's wrong to do it. She just still hates Will so much. She's like, yeah, sue him, even though she's like, her people are telling her don't sue. She's like, yeah, sue him, just because she wants to make Will's life even more miserable.
Right. Well, I mean, if Obama didn't sue for Larry
Just let
St.
it
Clair's
die.
interview. You take after his response. DCNC said, would Rob K get Dwayne off for murdering Will Smith? Yikes.
Would he?
Yikes.
Big yikes, as the kids say.
Shane H. Wilder said these stage moms are why kids, I don't know if you spelled this right.
Why kids and be kids?
Can't be kids?
I guess.
Yeah. Also, the lack of a father figure. Correct.
Yep.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said Danielle plus, I'll just say Club Penguin equals YouTube money.
Oh, the world is so depressing these days.
We have to keep on coming up with code words.
Yes.
Bucky Ducky said Mary is a tyrant for the children.
It's a compliment.
Daniel G said protect the children, every overreaching government.
Look, there's an argument to be made for a lot of people that federally they would want those to be state imposed legislation on certain things. And I understand the hesitancy, and I tend to fall more into the anti-authoritarian camp for most things because, like all laws, they can be abused, and all of these things can be abused down the line. So we're not talking about specific legislation here, but I
think people don't realize that all of these sites have your personal data anyway, and the government knows who you are when you click anything on the internet anyway. So the fact that it's a more explicit process, like submitting an ID, doesn't change that.
But the point is the best way to get people to submit to things that they wouldn't normally submit to is to hit them emotionally, which is why after 9/11 we lost all our privacy laws for the most part, why it's now impossible to go through an airport in a reasonable period of time. And the idea that the government is above using something that hits you at home just because it's children is absurd, because the US government, just like most other governments, are inherently, for the most part, kind of evil. So it's a hard one to have a discussion about. It would be easier if there was like an actual bill in front of us that we could go through and say, like, these are the pitfalls of this, these are the pitfalls of this. I don't want to be the bad guy who says I don't want to protect the kids, but I'm very, 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 I'm as hesitant and weary of any government entity as I am a mom on YouTube, and I think that both of them do plenty of things to hurt a lot of people.
You heard it here first, guys. Brett is a mom on YouTube.
Exactly.
Clip it. Shane H. Wilder said, the way Mary's eyes light up when Brett mentions authoritarian measures is so wholesome.
Yes, you did look unbelievably excited at the idea of being able to boss people around and controlling them.
Yeah. I'm just, taking notes for when I become dictator.
Oh my gosh, what would that even look like? A Mary dictatorship would just be
I would treat you well.
That's good, I suppose.
All right, you're safe.
Yeah, you're safe. DCNC said, Will getting murdered? Nah, just getting jiggy with it.
Oh, God.
Na. You missed the na part.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's one more here from High Voltage 75. Says, Mr. Brett, he at least spelled my name right. Did you hear the show Monk is coming back as a one-time movie? I never watched it, but since it was on the USA Network, I figured you'd be excited. Well, yes, as the world's biggest fan of the USA Network between the years of 2007 and 2014, I think it's good. I wasn't a fan of the psych movies that they made. And I'm weary of anything that comes back this many years later. Very rarely is the magic still there when they do that. But Tony Shalhoub, being the fantastic actor that he is, I would be just as freaked out if they brought back any of the other shows that I loved from that time period. A lot of times I just believe that something great came, it's gone. Love it for what it was. You don't need to try and bring it back. It's not going to work.
I didn't know that there were psych movies, but did you watch them?
I did not. I watched the one that when Amundsen got sick or whatever. They just weren't the same.
In 2017?
Yeah, I think I saw part of it, but
then there's another 2020 and 2021.
I did not see either.
It's more surprising that they made 3 of them.
Yeah. There's a couple more super chats here. We're about halfway to a second crisis party. I don't know if we're gonna make it today unless people rally together. But Bucky Ducky says, Brett, why you leave me hanging? Did I leave you hanging?
On what?
On what? I don't try to leave people hanging, but I apologize if I have. Derpwing Duck says, Dictator Mary, Sic Semper Tyrannis. There you go.
I studied Latin for like 12 years, and I don't know what that means.
Thus always tyrants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna be a great dictator one day. It's gonna be fantastic. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Remember, we are on our way to 75,000 subscribers. Urashima Otaru says, wary, Brett, not weary.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I get those mixed up.
Yeah, like I mixed up wary and weary.
Okay.
So I said the wrong thing.
Wary of moms on YouTube?
Wary, yeah. I must have said weary.
I mean, you could be like, I'm sick of them.
I'm sick of them. They're just exhausting. That's what
wary.
it is.
I'm skeptical.
Somebody else also pointed out recently that I say anyways a lot. They're like, it's anyway, not anyways. I'm like, bro, you're not.
It does not matter.
You're not critiquing my filler words. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. I refuse. All right, Isabelle, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Would you like to let anyone know where you're on social media? Are you on social media or just?
I am not.
Okay.
So
decidedly not on social media.
You can't follow me anywhere, and that's why I like it.
That's Wesley does the same thing when he's here. Wesley's like, you can't find me, and that's the way he likes it.
Yep.
There's one more here from Bucky Ducky. Says Mary will take over the world with an army of simps.
Sounds like too much work.
It's a lot of work to do that. Math is hard.
Anyways, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Thank you. All right, guys, if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd like to listen rather than watch this podcast. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.